Is this what day is this?
It's Mail It In Friday.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan.
What's going on?
What's going on? How we doing?
I'm begging you guys can hear me right now. Can you hear me right now? I am begging.
We can hear you, but it sounds like you're in a closet or I don't know where you are, but it sounds okay. It doesn't sound great, but it sounds okay. Everything okay over there? What's going on? We're having technical difficulties.
You have no idea the panic. You have no idea the panic that I went into. Obviously, it's not actually funny. This machine decided that the earphones and it wouldn't start, and then I had to call Doogie, and then I'm on the phone with Joe from the bridge, and you wouldn't imagine the sweat that started pouring down my forehead because this needed to happen, and it's a bad scene, and this is what we came up with. It was fully panic for the last 40 minutes. JP, okay. Doogie, everybody, just a full panic mode.
Well, we made it, and we're good, and it's all good. Yeah. And listen, it's a beautiful Friday. It's a beautiful Friday, man. Maybe the nicest day of the year. I feel like I've said that a lot this summer because it's been a very nice summer, but we know what's coming now, right? We got the Yankees in town. They're flying in, the New York media, right? All of Major League Baseball. And I've always looked at the Jays and felt like they're kind of upper middle class in baseball, right? Like they're not a major market. They're not just because they're the Canadian team and they're not going to jive. You know, they're not going to be able to compete with the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers. But they're also not, at the other end with the Tampas and the Oaklands and I don't need to run off names who are at the bottom of it, but I could if I had to. I always thought, okay, kind of upper middle class. It is going to be on display with the Yankees here in terms of how the media is going to respond, how I can already see it coming with Blue Jay fans thinking the fix is in if there's bad calls going against them, Major League Baseball trying to get the Yankees into the championship series. This is going to be quite the experience.
Well, I got a question for you, though, and both of you weigh in. So if, it's an analogy, and it's a Leaf analogy, because the Leafs are like a big conglomerate. They're a big brand. They travel. They get noisy. They travel well, all of that, fan base, media. So the Yankees are the Leafs, really, in baseball, right? Loud media, loud fans, all of that type of stuff. Who are the Blue Jays comparison in hockey then?
Wow.
I don't think it's like Ottawa. I think it's more like, what would it be?
I'd say it's like the Flyers or something like that. Like a well-respected team, been around a long time. Yeah. They've won, right? Flyers have won. They've been to Cup finals, and they've had a lot of legends play for their team. But the Flyers are not an original six team. They get overshadowed by the Leafs, the Habs, the Rangers, the Bruins, Detroit, Chicago, that's kind of how I would see it. And now it's different.
I think the Flyers is the perfect.
Yeah, go ahead.
Flyers are the perfect pick, Hayes. But when you talk about Toronto being upper middle, that wouldn't you say all the players in the States, like, they love coming up to Toronto? Like, the New York Yankees, they said it's going to be lit up there, and they're very excited to be here.
Yeah, they are. And like your boy Chaz Chisholm said that, and I think Judge was reiterating that, and Stanton. And listen, they got through the Red Sox. They were down game one. They lost game one. Crochet was great, and Chapman closed the door, and they survived game two. And last night it was basically one inning. But it hasn't been like the Bronx Bombers through 3 wild-card games. It hasn't been them hitting home run after home run after home run. I'm kind of anticipating that showing up at some point. But you're right. The Yankees are very familiar with Toronto. I mean, Judge has played up here as much as he's played anywhere else, like outside of Yankee Stadium. Yeah. He's played here as much as he's played at Fenway, right, or Camden Yards or whatever. This is all he knows is coming up to Toronto and playing in the division. And obviously it's the first time they're ever going to play in the playoffs, and it's going to be very different. Like Seattle was cool and Minnesota was cool. This is the Yankees. Like the New York Yankees are rolling into town. You got a chance to knock them out. And Gausman will pitch game 1. We still don't know who's going to pitch for the Yankees. But I heard Steve Phillips on with Matthew Caus, and I could not agree with him more. Game 1 is imperative. Like, you've got to get game 1 if you're the Jays. You've got to set the tone. You've got to take advantage before Fried and Rodon and Schlittler get back on the mound. So Gausman going game 1, and let's see what comes of it, man. It's going to be a blast tomorrow afternoon.
Dude, that Schlittler, he's a dangerous human being, man, what he did last night. And just the way he went about it and the way he's so calm and cool and he was wheeling off the mound like nothing was going on, that's a dangerous human being pitching right now. Like, that was an incredible performance last night. 12 Ks, no walks.
It was.
To be that young and to be from Boston and grow up a Red Sox fan and understand the history and playing against, your childhood team and at Yankee Stadium in a must-win game, man, that guy was unbelievable last night. And we'll see him. Like, if it goes to 4, we'll see Schlittler again. So it's going to be great. We can't wait for it. And we've got Davis Schneider who's going to join us at 5:30. So we're looking forward to that. Davis will join us, and he'll help us set the scene on the Yankee series. We'll ask him, how closely was he watching the wild card? What has it been like playing these simulation games the last couple of days? And we'll get into it with Davis at 5:30. We look forward to that. Johnny's coming up later in the hour. It is Futures Day on FanDuel for NHL picks. We got a bunch of them. We'll get to them. Johnny will help us get into that as well. And, man, at least we're doing their best to make sure Stolarz is ready for the season last night. Because, that guy got peppered last night like crazy. Almost 50 shots.
I was trying to find, 3 or 4 guys that had, real solid performances. And it started out, Austin Matthews looked like he might have been cooking, scored early on the power play, and then you're like, we might really have something here. And then it just went downhill, and Stolarz just got absolutely smoked in the net with shots, and even got bumped. I hate seeing him getting bumped like that. You talked about that, Hayes. I think you sent out a tweet or something, like every time this guy gets bumped, it's going to turn into an ordeal. But, man, that was quite the performance. That was one where coaches usually don't have a bit of a snap show in preseason, but that might be one where it was like, guys, that's our heater lineup, and that's the performance we came up with, because it was an onslaught by Detroit.
Yeah, it was.
I chalked it up, guys. Like, again, it's exhibition. Guys are trying to get through without an injury. But I would have liked to see more. Like, Detroit just looked more interested. That's really what it was. And Detroit looked pretty quick. Like, that's the one thing I took away is Detroit were on pucks, and they were aggressive. And the Leafs veterans just kind of were like, okay, I'm 50-50. You can take that. I'll defend kind of getting back to the net. But, you take away that Stolarz looked sharp. I thought, the power play looked good. But outside of that, there wasn't much to take away other than the fact that, well, there's one injury, right? Was it Lawton that
Scott Lawton, week to week.
Out of it.
And what's interesting is David Kampf is on waivers today, which
that
I figured when Lawton got hurt, I figured Kampf would step right in. And maybe it's about trying to get him through waivers. I can't imagine. I'm sure they'd be happy for someone to claim him. But maybe it's about getting through, and then they have the ability to bring him up and down, and they get through that dance when the rest of the league is doing it. But or it's just Craig Berube refuses to play David Kampf, where Lawton is hurt, and he's going to be out for a while, and Berube still is not willing to accept David Kampf as an option.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Yarncroke take draws? Like, who would be the other options down the middle of the ice here with an injury to Lawton, let's say, for a couple weeks, and David Kampf is not on your roster? Let's say he gets picked up or he's in with the Marlies. What is that fourth-line center? Who are we looking at there?
I'm not sure, because I don't think of Yarncroke as a center. I don't think they want to put Cowan in that position this early in his career. He has played center in London, but I don't think they want to do that. I don't think of Lorentz as a centerman. They're not going to play Pizzetta, I don't think, in that position. I don't know. I mean, it's a great question. I guess they're probably planning on Camp clearing waivers, and then maybe they bring him back up and he plays. I mean, maybe that's what they feel is going to happen, but we'll find out by next week. But I think the Stolar stuff is very intriguing because of what happened against Florida. And it wasn't the same type of shot he took last night as the Bennett shot, but not far off. It wasn't far off, kind of a innocuous, coming through, sorry, I got you type thing. And this is going to be a story, I think, all year for the Leafs, and they're going to have to address it because if Joseph Woll's not available, then you're talking about a big drop-off. Stolarz is your number one. He's going to be here for a long time. He's got a history, clearly. It was really scary what happened to him against the Panthers.
Right.
Something's got to give. Like, if the book is out, hey, storm the crease and see if the Leafs have anything to say about it. Like, Detroit, I don't think of as this big, rowdy, tough team. Florida, when they roll through, that's coming. Like, Florida's going to crash the net and just say, you want to do something about it? Let's go. And this is where I don't know if the Leafs have the DNA to address that. I don't know, because you look at the Florida-Tampa game last night, like Florida's going to try to fight their way back into the playoffs, literally.
Dude, that was a never-ending brawl last night in Florida. What the hell was going on down there? But those guys just would not stop. And every single shift, there was just an absolute brawl. That's going to be a war. I think they play each other again on Saturday night, too.
Right. And that's it. And that's Tampa's chasing Florida, right, Noodles? Like, in terms of that first round last year, Florida just kind of dusted them and pushed them around and said, see you later.
Is there a bigger rivalry from a physicality standpoint right now in the NHL? I think I genuinely believe those two organizations hate each other. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of vitriol. I get it, Leafs, Ottawa, Rangers, Islanders, Battle of Alberta. But I think those are two heater teams, heater organizations that hate each other. And every time, regardless if it's exhibition, regular season, there's going to be fights and dust-ups. There is just no love lost there. And it didn't surprise me seeing that last night.
No, me neither. And it was A.J. Greer started it. He got fined. I didn't think it was, like, crazy what he did to Hagel. It was greasy, for sure. It was a greasy little play. And Hagel's a kind of greasy little player himself. And I mean that as a compliment. Like, Hagel will get in there and jab at you, and he'll chirp, and he'll do his thing. And, this really isn't that much what Greer did to him. But still, it led to craziness the rest of the game. And you're right. In terms of physicality, in terms of wars, in terms of really quality teams, these are the last two dynasties in the league. Like, between Tampa and Florida, that's 6 straight Cup finals. But between the three of them, they've always been in the Cup final. It was Tampa, then they passed the baton to Florida. And again, if you're the Leafs, they're going to have to address that. Like, if it's going to get – and they're a big team. Like you mentioned it, the pace of Detroit. Like, the Leafs are not a fast team. Like, you can see that. They are not a fast team. So what do you have? They're big. They're massive. There are some big boys on the Leafs. And I think that is very beneficial come playoff time. But in the regular season, you're going to have some games where it's, back-to-back, and the other team's fresh, and they're flying. And what are you going to do? Yeah. How do you slow them down? How do you keep up? A lot of that's going to be goaltending or your structure and playing defensively sound and possibly being intimidating. And I don't know if the Leafs have that ingredient. I don't think they're an intimidating team.
Well, there's a mandate on both of those Florida teams, Hayes, where if there's going to be some goofy stuff going on, everybody is going to be getting involved. It's not like you can say, I don't feel like this line brawl right now. It's just that's not my thing. All those guys are involved, and they're like, it's a mandatory thing to play on both of those teams. If something goes down, there's history there too with the hits, because Ekblad, he was just, they wanted to kill him last night too. He got involved. Like, it was craziness, but every single guy was taking part, and they didn't have a choice to do it.
Yep. That's one of those rules. I'm certain of it, right? Ekblad said it, that Paul Maurice has got those rules, and I'm sure one of them, I know one of them, I'd be willing to put the house on it, is if one guy's in, we're all in.
Yeah, but, coming back to the Leafs, Brian, like, I look at it, you talked about their speed. Like, I think the biggest thing is you can move the puck fast if you've got skill and you can execute. But where I saw just slightly last night, and again, I'm not judging on one night, but their D are big, but they're not super mobile. They're good skaters, but they're not. That's the one thing where I noticed Detroit was able to apply some pressure because the D were going back and taking hits, and if it gets turned over, they're stuck in their own zone. That was the biggest takeaway outside of mailing it in for a last home game for them. But they're going to have to get the puck moving, and I think that's something that they'll address. Either just internally going, hey, guys, let's be a little sharper, let's move it. But they looked a little bit big and sluggish back there, but not as crisp as I would like to see them, because it's going to happen. Opening night's coming here soon.
Yeah, it's coming quick. Yeah, it is. And listen, it's a preseason game. It's funny. Matthew said after the game, well, we're all healthy, so it's all good. And that was actually inaccurate because Lawton got hurt. Yeah. So, that kind of spoke to the mentality of the team, that they were just trying to get through it. And they just, no one really cares. Like, that's kind of
It's been said out loud. It's been said out loud. Let's get through this one when nobody gets hurt. You would like the crowd performance with the heater lineup, but it just didn't happen.
It didn't happen. It did not happen. And Detroit came into play, and, they looked good. And Stolarz got like 2 or 3 preseason games worth of work last night, so he'll be ready to go.
Yes.
So the Leafs will play in Detroit on Saturday. Tomorrow it's Yankees-Jays at 4:08. Then they play Game 2, 4:08 on Sunday. I'm going down to both games, so I'm going to be down there, and I'm looking forward to it. I got to be dome open. I haven't heard definitively, but it's got to be dome open for both.
Wow.
And Gosman on the mound tomorrow, and they haven't announced who will start Game 2. And I guess the playoff roster has to go in tomorrow morning. They're still playing coy with Bichette, day-to-day, coming down to the wire. It's not happening.
Man. Dude, there was a video of him yesterday with this giant brace on from, like, his hip to his foot. And he was limping on the baseball field with a glove, like tossing it to another guy.
Yeah.
That's not playing. Like,
no.
Keegan said he's got to be running at least in a straight line. He was limping in a brace. That means he can't play.
Yeah, they've been doing the simulating stuff. They've been in the cage. They've been running the bases. The media's down there. No one's seen him do anything. Bichette's not going to play.
Yeah.
But it starts tomorrow, and we got to get into what happened last night. What a win by the Niners. Full credit to them. We have to address Mac Jones in his suit postgame, because the suit, I've never seen anything like this move, man. And there's some great content.
It's
crazy.
The different colors.
Yes, the Two-Face, Harvey Two-Face, dude. Like, the guy's got a black and red two-piece, two-color suit, and it's an amazing look. It's one of a kind. And listen, Jones played pretty well, and the Niners picked up a win. Al's brother and I, Hayes and Bro, we're in our midseason slump. It happens every single year. We get motivated from a slump, and we come out flying, and we intend on doing that just after 5 o'clock. So Mike Johnson coming up, Luke Willson coming up, Davis Schneider coming up. We got a bunch of NHL futures courtesy of FanDuel. We'll get to that. OverDrive's off and running. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP, where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. Boston Pizzas will be rocking this weekend, man. Rocking. We've got CFL action. We're coming down the stretch in the Canadian Football League. We'll have the NFL going, another London game, and it is a beauty. Browns, Vikings over in London, just begging for the Brits to love the National Football League. Should be great. Carson Wentz, Dylan Gabriel. Imagine going to that game and thinking this is great stuff. No, thank you.
Who wants to go to that game? Like, why would they even bother with that card going over there? It's embarrassing.
I know. That's what they do in the NFL. Like, there's certain teams that are cool with going over. Jacksonville's over there all the time. Cleveland, Minnie's over there a fair amount. It feels like it anyway. And it's a big market. Like, you're trying to get in there possibly and maybe grow your brand a little bit. But if you play terribly, I'm not sure it does it.
You said you were heading down to the games, Hazy. Is those work trips or are those – you're not trying to break up the dynamic duo, are you?
Who's the dynamic duo? Hedge and Keegan? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Don't even think about getting in there, man. Dude,
I might be joining them. I might be on the field. With it. Do you not want me to go down? I'll run that up.
If you break up that duo, man, that is such a joke because we've been hearing little sound bites from you with your little cameos on some other things. And if you go down there and break up that duo, that is something else, man.
Here's another thing. There was like a scene when you would go to Leaf games, right? They weren't winning and people were getting upset and all that. You show your face
I never thought about that.
You show your face at Rogers Center and they lose, people are going to be choked.
Well, I am a little bit concerned about that. And yes, I'm not breaking anything up, right? Everyone's going to still be down there and having a great time. I'm going down. I'm going to the game. I'm going to be in a suit. I'll be around. I'll be on the field afterwards. And I'm more concerned about wearing the suit. It's going to be 28 degrees. And, it's different. We go to a Leaf playoff game in April. It's like 12 degrees, 15 degrees. I can do a suit walking in there. I got no problem. I'm concerned of the opposite, how hot it's going to be down there. But,
dude, the suit in that heat, man, depending on where you're situated, you better be somewhere cool because you won't be able to go on TV after. You'll be melting.
I know.
You'll be melting.
I know. I'll ask Keegan for help. But Keegan and Hedge are still going to be there doing their thing. I'm just going to be in there somewhat in some sort of a contributing way. I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet. But
no, I know how it's going to go already. Jen and Keegan are going to be talking. And then after he answers the first question, it's just going to pan wider, and then you're going to be standing beside Keegan looking to steal some action. I know that's going to be the move for you.
It's possible.
100%.
I'm not producing the whole thing. I don't know what's going to happen yet. And listen, I think I need some royalties from this Prime, man. Because Noodles, you were sending us clips today.
Yeah.
The season 2 of whatever it's called, the NHL show. And the Leafs and the Leafs in the playoffs, and a big part of the Leafs' journey and their show is the Panthers. And I look and sound like a buffoon. They're basically using me to basically get them through the story, and like the ebbs and flows of the story. Where after game 2, the Leafs are up 2-0 in the series, and I'm just pointing out the obvious. Leafs look great. They're in the driver's seat. Yeah. Wow, this is amazing. And then after game 6 or after game 5, I'm like, whatever. I don't know. I guess, maybe they can push it to game 7 and see what happens.
Well, you're everywhere. The only thing I can hope for is that you get hit with Gatorade. If you're going to get, that means they've won, and somehow Vladdy comes up behind you and just dusts you with blue Gatorade. It would be unbelievable.
I don't anticipate that happening. I don't think it's going to happen. All right, here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst. What's happening, Johnny?
I think that could be a career for you, Hazy. You could be like a narrator for documentaries. You're just narrating the Leafs' journey, and that could be a nice little new side gig to go along with your baseball analysis and your hockey analysis and everything else you do.
I like that idea because what's the guy's name? Liv Schreiber or Shriver or
Liv
something?
Schreiber, yeah.
Yeah, he's been the voice of all that guy's making a fortune. An absolute fortune.
He does the Montreal Crave one, too, I think.
Yeah,
the Montreal rebuild one on Crave. I think he might be narrating that one, too, so why not?
Why not, man? You know who I met over the summer was the voice of EA Sports, the guy who does the...
It's in the game?
Yes.
Where did you meet that guy?
He's a Canadian guy. He's Canadian. He lived in L.A. forever, but I guess he's from Toronto. And he's got himself a setup, dude, because he has it, I think, in his deal where they have to continue to use him. It can't be a scenario where, hey, we had you say EA Sports 30 years ago, and we're just going to keep. No, I got to come back in the booth, and I'm going to keep doing it. And that guy just continues to get residuals and royalties and repaid. And
wow,
what a life, man! Being the voice of EA Sports. That's in my future.
Does he talk like that in real life?
No, not really, but he can put it on. I think he gets bothered a lot for people to be like, hey, you're the EA Sports guy. You got to kind of give me an example of it. He's probably happy to do it. He's a millionaire. He's happy. He's fine. He's living a great
Bruce
life.
Buffer.
Bruce Buffer's another one. There you go. Bruce Buffer. This guy, let's get ready to rumble, made that guy $100 million. Crazy how much money he's made. All right, Johnny. So we were talking about that Leaf game last night. And the protection of Stolars. Is this a story for you? Do you think it will be a story all year? Where do you stand on that?
Protection of him physically. The guys don't let guys get around him.
Yes.
I don't think it's any more a story for the Leafs than it would be for any other team. I think every team, Noodles would say, right? You're trying to protect your goalie from traffic, from rebounds, from contact. And I understand their heightened sensitivity given the way his season last year ended, where he's bumped into and he was hurt. But he's also 6'6" and 240 pounds. Like, he's not a little guy in there. And the Leafs have to do a good job in front of their own net to stop goals and to stop people from touching Anthony Stoles. I don't think it's a hot button issue for the Leafs. Like, oh God, we got a fragile goalie, we got to protect him. Or our goalie's so great, we got to protect him. I think they just want to do it the same way everyone else does. But I was actually down at the game last night, just doing a little bit of work, and hearing Craig Berube talk after the game, the one way he talked about the sort of puck decisions and puck movement and just pace of play. And it was the pace of play that stood out to me, because I know it's preseason and I know it doesn't matter. And I know they have a veteran team that's going to be really good. But that was the starting 18 skaters. Every single one of them. That's the starting 18. And they played slow. And that, we sort of touched around this topic with this team. And yes, they're bigger and they're more rugged. But I think they might be slower because they're slower of foot and they're slower of mind and puck movement without, Marner or whatever. That's a concern for me. And I'm going to be curious to see how that goes when the game starts for real. If they can play faster, not physically skate faster, but just play faster, because they played slow last night and it wasn't great.
Well, if you see it again, Johnny, then what the hell are you going to do if you think that that's your starting rotation and your team that's going to start the season, and then all of a sudden you realize it's slow? Like, what are you going to do? It's kind of problematic, isn't it? It might be a one-off. They might have went out there and said, I'm not really into this, but what are you going to do?
I mean, you just said it. It's problematic. It's very problematic. And I think what you would have to do is remember and try to cater your game to sort of straight line board play, right? Where you're not having to go up and down rushes and zone entry. There's more sort of chip it forward, get in there, bang it around, and maybe play a little bit more of a grindy kind of game. But I think it's tricky because the NHL, especially in the regular season, it's just getting faster. And if the game's getting faster, but you're getting a bit slower, that's sort of headed in the wrong direction. So it would be a problem that they would have to kind of continue to work around. If they can't, they're not going to change the personnel, so they have to change the way they play and use it.
So, Johnny, first and foremost, I heard it's the first anniversary of your 50th birthday. So 51 today, you old goat.
Nice. Happy birthday, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Let everyone know just how old I am, Noodles. Yeah, after 50, it doesn't even matter what birthday it is. Like, there's no real big ones anymore until you get to be 100. So, it's just another birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I had two people reach out to make sure that I said it on air. So there you go. You can thank Sam Cicerello and Garrett Cansford for you. But quickly in watching that game last night, and then you look at David Kampf on waivers and the injury to Lawton. What do you make? Like, who do you think can play that fourth line center in their interim if either Kampf gets picked up or they decide to put him with the Marlies?
Max Domi's not going to go down there, but Max has played in the middle a little bit. Could Palle Järnkrok? He has taken some face-offs. He's a veteran guy. If you're going to sort of play positionless hockey, the primary uniquely centerman responsibility is face-off and the play right after a face-off. And Järnkrok might be just experienced enough to do that. If Lawton's not good to go, and Kampf gets claimed, although I don't know necessarily if Kampf will get claimed, because it seems like they probably tried to trade him throughout the summer to shed the salary. And if no one takes him then, I don't know if anyone takes him now unless there's another injury around the league somewhere else. But I guess it'd be Järnkrok would be the guy to step in there and have to go, or you'd be sort of doing a makeshift. But not ideal, because Scott Lawton's supposed to be more than just, a air quotes fourth line center. But most teams got to be able to withstand, look around the league, some of the injuries going along right now. If you got to shuffle a fourth line center position, that shouldn't be a massive problem in the short term.
Johnny, what do you think it means for Easton Cowan? Like, he had some chemistry with Lorentz and Lawton, and they were all talking on the bench and doing this and that and doing well. Like, what do you think it means for Cowan? And what do you think he needs as far as playing in the NHL if he does on a regular shift? Because he had some plays last night. He got rocked a couple times. He had a little silly back pass. Mm-hmm. What do you think it means for him?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, especially if he's going to play in that kind of role where he's further down the lineup, which is where it looks like he's going to start. It would be really comforting for a young player, a rookie, to have a couple of veterans that he has some rapport with, that he feels are looking out for him, they're sort of in it together, as opposed to he's on this sort of journey in the lineup on his own. And if he loses that, he loses probably some of his comfort zone and maybe some of the insulation he gets on the ice. And Scott Laughton's a good defensive player, and Lorentz is a good defensive player. Then when he has some of those moments where he turns it over or makes a bad decision, or your favorite, that little backhand pass in his own end, which was ill-advised, then they're there to help clean up some of the messes he makes. And so that would be preferable. But if it's not there, it's not there. And again, if you're Ethan Cowan, you're a high-end player. You're going to play in the NHL for 15 years. Like, you got to be able to be good enough to play the fourth-line winger position with a multitude of options in the middle on the other side and still be as effective as you can be. So, not ideal, but it shouldn't be backbreaking to him and his ability to play in the NHL this year to start the season.
With Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, so it got a little bit crazy last night. Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
And those two teams, they do not like each other. They meet in the playoffs, a lot, and Florida's beating them up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa last year, I think a lot of people thought, could get back to where they were a few years ago, where they were the cream of the crop, and Florida just dummied them in the first round. They didn't make a ton of moves in the offseason. I'm curious where you stand on Tampa, where you stand on Florida. I know a lot of fans up here, Toronto fans, Ottawa, Montreal fans, trying to figure that out. Like, not overly concerned about Detroit or Buffalo, but it's the two teams in Florida. And where do you stand on those two teams going into the season?
Yeah, you're right. I thought Tampa was going to win last year in the playoffs. I was very wrong. But if you ask me who I have winning the Atlantic this year, I have Tampa again.
Yeah.
And it's not that I think they're so great, but I think they're probably have gotten the least worse from last year. Like, I think Florida, obviously, injuries, age, Kachuk, Barkov, they're worse than last year in the regular season. I think Toronto, some of their departures, they're probably a little bit worse off in the regular season as well. And Tampa stayed, as you said, basically the same. And the reason I like Tampa in the regular season is because they can score. And when you can score, it makes playing in the regular season a lot more sustainable. You can win games 5-4. You can score your way out of some tough moments or where you're maybe not quite on top of your game. Whereas if you don't score as much, and I'm not sure the Leafs are going to score as much, then, you don't get the 5-4 game. You have to win everything 3-2, and that's harder to do as consistently in the regular season. So I think Tampa will be good. And that game last night, that was really chippy. And that was chippy in a little bit of a different way than, let's say, the Montreal-Ottawa one, in that in the game in Florida and Tampa, there was a lot of starting players in it. Like, Kucherov was playing, and Reinhart, and the best players were playing, and it was those guys involved in it all. But I think when you're Florida and you are the schoolyard bully, people are going to keep challenging you in that way. Like, across the league, everyone's like, we want to stand up to Florida. We want to stand up to Florida, push them back. And Florida, who does not care, they're happy to play in games like that. They probably will play in more games with that sort of energy than anybody else, because people are trying to answer the bell and the challenge that they've presented in the last few years. So maybe not surprising, but Florida, they don't care about it, right? They just don't play that way day in, day out. They're more comfortable in the alley than you are, and they love going down there. If you go down there with them, then they are content to be there with you.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, how that goes, because it's a different world. It's a different game than it was a long time ago, but it does have a Broad Street bully vibe to it to an extent.
Modern era.
Yeah, modern era. They're tougher than you. They can meet you with talent. They got a great goalie, and like the old saying goes, like, they'll meet you in the alley, on the ice, whatever it is. And who's going to take them down? And do they feel like, do you have to take them down in the same fashion? Do you outskill them? Back in the 70s, it was the Habs,
too, right?
The Habs came in with all that skill, but I'm sure you guys heard the same story. Larry Robinson beat the hell out of someone, and it was like, uh-oh, watch out. Like, the Habs can fight too, and next thing you know, they win all those cups.
And around Montreal, that fight from Robinson, and even around the NHL history books, and we're all maybe even on my birthday, a little bit too young to know that, but apparently, yeah, he fought one of the tough guys on Philadelphia, and it changed the entire trajectory of the league, where it went, okay, you can't just fight and pugilist your way to championships. Montreal, courtesy of Larry Robinson, is going to stand up to you and then outskill them, and that's basically what Tampa was sort of doing last night. They made nice plays, and they scored 5, and they won the game, but then they also pushed back, and that is it's a uniquely hockey spirit where if you get challenged physically, your instinct is always to fight back, and you don't want to just win the game, especially in the regular season. You want to win the at least physical confrontation or the respect that you are willing to engage in it. And that's what Florida does. They just challenge you to say, okay, we're gonna test you. Mm-hmm. And if you push back, well, good for you. But if you don't, then you're not going to have a very good chance of winning. So that's every team around the league is going to be doing that in the regular season, and then even more so in the playoffs.
So Tampa on FanDuel right now paying plus 195 to win the division. Again, it's Futures Day on FanDuel, on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Tampa plus 195 to win the Atlantic. Toronto plus 290. Florida plus 330. Then there's a bit of a drop-off. Ottawa at 7-1. Habs at 12-1. There's some value there for Ottawa and the Habs if you think they can jump all those teams. But you just said you got Tampa. Do you have any other division winners you like? Anyone else that sticks out in terms of point props or goal props or whatever you can supply for Futures Day on FanDuel today?
All right. I mean, I took a little peek at it, and we got some of the stuff coming up in our season preview. But I think Carolina is a good bet. I think they are plus, I don't know, what are they, plus 800 to win the President's Trophy. Mm-hmm. And Carolina, they churn out good year, our regular seasons. Rod Brindamore, they got Nick Ehlers. They're going to be really good again. And I don't love the Metro Division. So they're going to play, bulk of games against teams that aren't quite as good. So I think that's probably pretty good value as opposed to taking like a Dallas or an Edmonton or a team like that or Vegas that might have a tougher run to go there. So I like that one. And I also like, guys, I checked the Austin Matthews futures for goals total. Was his 46.5, 44.5? I'm taking the over. I think he's basically never scored less than that rate if he plays every game. The thing that will stop him from scoring 47 goals is not him. It's his health. So long as he stays healthy, then I think he's going to get 47 goals. So I think that one is, it's basically even money, whatever, minus 110. But I think that one is a pretty good bet as well. And the other one, guys, and took a look at this one, Hazy, the Calder, where Demidov is a massive favorite to win the Calder. Massive. And there's a guy in St. Louis named Jimmy Snuggerud. Great name. Dad used to play for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yes.
He's playing on the first line with Robert Thomas and getting power play time. If you play on the first line on that team with those players, if it doesn't go great for Demidov, is it out of the question that Snuggerud puts up, 25, 60 or something like that, which might be enough to get him right in the running if it doesn't go great. And he's plus 1,100. That's good value to me because I get Demidov's the most talented guy, but we know that there's question marks about that second line. I don't know if it's going to work the way they anticipated. He's not on the first power play, Demidov. So in that sense, I think maybe there's some value in the Calder play because some of those guys a little further down, if they're in the right situation, then they can maybe be a threat like Snuggerud is.
It's a great handle, man. Remember Rick Jenneret calling out Snuggerud? Like he just would go crazy with that name. He loved that name. All right, those are good bets, man. There's a lot of value there, and you're right. Like you look at Demidov, it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to put that much money on him. He's a young guy like all these rookies are going to be. We'll see what Montreal does this year. If he's on the second line, he's probably going to get PP1 opportunities. But there's so much hype with him. I just don't think that makes sense. Like it's
and
too
he
much.
deserves it.
What's that?
He's incredible, but he's not on the PP1 to start the season. They split the power plays, and he's on the second unit. So, maybe that changes. And he's crazy talented. But I'm just like, no matter how good you are, it's hard to do it if I don't know if Kirby Dach's the centerman for him. I just don't know, if they'll have the puck enough to really highlight what he can do. So, yeah, this is a value play. Like, I would take Davidoff as the best rookie, but I just don't know value-wise. I could go a different direction.
I like it. All right, there you go. Futures Day on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Yeah, we'll have more future picks later this afternoon. The O-Dog, myself, and Noodles. Happy birthday, Johnny. Great stuff, buddy. Have yourself a great birthday weekend.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to Detroit to cover the Leafs American League team tomorrow. So it's going to be a wicked birthday weekend.
Wow. Listen, Detroit's sneaky good town now, man. Sneaky good town. It's too bad the Tigers aren't still playing. But no. Sneaky good town.
We'll see what we can find.
All right, buddy. Enjoy yourself down there.
Boys.
We'll do it again soon.
Have a good weekend.
Mike Johnson, TSN hockey analyst. All right, more futures still to come as we look ahead to the NHL season starting on Tuesday night. Luke will join us. Al's brother coming up. More picks for the weekend. We got Davis Schneider in 45 minutes. Jays, Yankees tomorrow. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
OverDrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. We'll get to some more future picks a little bit later this afternoon. Davis Schneider coming up in about 40 minutes. And Luke Willson on what a win by the Niners last night. And would he ever trust a guy in the suit that Mac Jones was wearing last night, pretending as if Brock Purdy is still the starting quarterback and he's not coming for his job? As if you could trust a guy with a suit like that. I don't think I could.
How can you keep saying, well, Purdy makes $50 million? He's like the way he played and the way they play with him, don't you got to kind of seriously consider it, Hayes? Look at this suit, man. The red and black.
Yeah. Harvey Two-Face. And if I'm Brock Purdy, I'm looking at that guy thinking he's coming for my job. Like he might.
That's exactly right. He had the old school Dan Marino 5 braces on his knee, too. He could hardly walk in between plays. Did you see the braces on his knee?
Yeah. Didn't stop him. Didn't stop anything. And Luke's boy, Matt Stafford, couldn't match last night. And the defensive stops by the Niners, like the fumble that was created, at the end of the game was incredible. And then the 4th and 1 stop in overtime was amazing. And I credit McVay for going for the win because, remember, last week LaFleur accepted the tie. The Packers were like, I'll just take a tie. McVay knew if he kicked a field goal there, ball's in the hand of the Niners, and at best you're going to tie that game. So he went for it, but couldn't muster up a yard.
Yeah. Well, isn't he one of the brainiacs, like one of those guys that has all those smart ideas? How do you come up with that play if you're going to go for it on 4th and 1? Isn't there something a little bit more creative? Like
you'd think.
Wouldn't you think, man?
Yeah, you'd think. Like Fred Warner's largely considered the best linebacker in the game. Let's just run right at Fred. I don't know if that's going to work out so well for you. Like the line collapsed, and credit the Niners. They saw it coming. It was almost like they were in the huddle and knew exactly what they were going to run. So it was pretty amazing win by the Niners last night. Puts Hazenbrough in a bit of a bind. All right, Noodles, you're still out in Edmonton. You have an update for us on Struddy and the chili contest. What did we get out of Struddy?
I just reached out to him and I just said, listen, the boys want to know how the chili testing went. Did you need a diaper when you got home? And he said, I must have the stomach of a grizzly bear because I expected a much worse explosion. So apparently he's pretty proud of his stomach that he was able to battle through that. But I don't know. I think he might be lying.
Okay, Homer Simpson, man. That guy, Struddy's a big boy, right? Struddy takes care of business. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the chili contest. Like, I don't know if they want the judges to feel horrible for the next week and a half, and then that's a good sign of maybe what was delivered, or do they want someone like Struddy who's evidently built like a grizzly bear, and will he get the return next year? Yeah, will he get called back in? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
You might have to bring him back in. I don't know. It's a weird thing because I don't know if you should feel bad after eating that much chili or you should feel good and happy about it. That amount of beans is not good for you.
You should feel awful, horrible, horrendous.
No, you guys are dead wrong, man. I can eat a whole barrel full of it. It's so delicious. Turkey chili, beef chili, every kind of bean. Every kind of bean you want to toss in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, listen, it's one thing for it to, taste good. It's another thing for it to sit properly. But I guess you and Struddy are built the same way. All right, so we've got Davis Schneider coming up at 5:30 and Kevin Gausman on the mound for Game 1 tomorrow. So we'll start teeing up that series. We'll get to our best bet. We'll get to more future bets as well, courtesy of FanDuel as we get into the next hour. Luke and Al's brother coming up as well with more picks, including a Sunday game. So we got a 4-pack to get to for the Sunday slate. That's coming up in hour 2. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Big hour. We got Davis Schneider in half an hour. Yankees are in town. Yankees will be playing down at the Rogers Center tomorrow. Game 1, 4:08. Game 2 on Sunday, 4:08. Going to be phenomenal weather this weekend. You get the Leafs in action tomorrow. You got the Argos playing. CFL coming down the stretch. NFL football. You got basketball back. I saw that it sounds like Luka is going to rest. First preseason game. He's already being labeled as rest early in the preseason, which is not surprising. I mean, again, the NBA is no different than the NHL or anywhere else. Preseason, it just does not matter. Playoffs, though, it matters. And I'm looking at Vladdy Guerrero Jr. tomorrow, right? Like you talk about a first impression. Vladdy's got to have one.
Well, what if the Yankees start hitting this? The spotlight's going to be right on him, Hayes. Like, he's got to bring something to the table, man. If they start launching it, because they didn't really do it last night. They were scraping it around, generating those runs last night. But if they start bombing it out of the park, he's got to step up and be accounted for, man. He's got to be the guy.
Yep, absolutely. And he's got the history with the Yankees, right? Like he's always said, I hate the Yankees. I'll never sign with the Yankees. And he's always played them really well. Like he loves Yankee Stadium. And at a minimum, they're playing one game there on Tuesday night. Game 3 is going back to New York.
My guy is Springer, though. I know Vladdy's the guy, and I know he's got paid $500 million. But if you look at Springer, he is their spark plug. He's their the guy who kind of seems like he runs the dugout. He seems like he runs everything. To me, I've got all eyes on Springer. Even though it should be Vladdy, it's Springer for me.
I'm with you. How about both? How about everyone has a great series? That would be very helpful. If you're going to beat the Yankees, you're going to need more than just 1 or 2 bats. That's for certain. And you're right about Springer. He won a World Series MVP back in 2017. So he's got great playoff performances in the past. He'll be hitting leadoff tomorrow. You can bank on that. And we'll see what the roster looks like tomorrow and in terms of who's going to start Game 2 and Game 3 and where Scherzer comes into play, you Savage. There's a lot still up in the air. But Gausman will start tomorrow. That is for sure. And you're going to get the 4th or 5th starter for the Yankees. And I think it feels imperative you get off to a great start. And we'll see what comes of it as of tomorrow. Davis Schneider on that and more coming up in about 25 minutes.
If you smell what the Willson is cooking.
There he is joining us on the Maple Toyota hotline, our NFL analyst, Luke Willson. Where are you tonight, Luke? Friday Night Football. Where do you happen to be this evening?
I'm in lovely Ottawa, Ontario, sitting here right now just reminiscing how me and Partsy baited you gumbos yesterday. Oh, my God. A division game on a Thursday with 8.5 points, and you guys are acting like it's a shoo-in, like it's a layup. It was a layup for Kyle Shanahan. What's the matter with you, Hayes?
Bad call.
That's the one thing Hayes didn't factor in the record against McVay, man. He didn't factor it in, Partsy. And by the way, I love what you retweeted.
They're slipping.
They are. And I love what you retweeted, Partsy. The picture of the jersey in Windsor, and somebody said, there's nothing of Hazenbro, and you retweeted it. I love that you did that, Parts.
Hey, we're men of the people, Parts. They wouldn't know. These guys wouldn't know.
Well, that's inaccurate. I get texts and DMs and emails telling me Al's brother will walk down King Street on a Friday night, and he's getting catcalls like he's Leonardo DiCaprio. Like people are yelling at him. Al's brother, he's got TMZs following him around, walking down King West, and I think that'll be happening tonight. So we are men of the people, and listen, it was a bad call. There's no other way to put it. It was a bad call, bad information. We forgot about Shanahan versus McVay, kind of an important detail that maybe we should have considered. We got roped in with the sharp money. We went down that path, and it is what it is. We're down 2, early season slump. It happens. But in terms of that game last night, like Mac Jones, he's got the 2-colored suit. He's pumping the tires of Brock Purdy after the game. I'd be a little bit nervous if I was Brock Purdy. Like, Purdy's got the money, but the Niners are 4-1, and they're 4-1 more because of Mac Jones than because of Brock Purdy. What do you see happening when Purdy returns? And at a minimum, what do you think this has done for the future career of Mac Jones?
Well, I'll start with the latter part there. The future career of Mac Jones is he's going to be paid. It's one of those things where, and you kind of saw it with Sam Darnold, he clearly was in a very, very bad situation in New England, which that's not surprising. Everybody knows. I mean, it's very tough to be successful based on the end of Bill Belichick's tenure and Gerard Mayo. He's playing at an extremely high level. To me, beyond the ability, the toughness he's been showing just seems real gritty. He's made some big plays and big moments. That is not an easy defense. I'll say this, as far as the Brock Purdy thing goes, and it's at every level, politics plays in sports. And if nobody was making money, there's probably a very in-depth conversation who they want to start going forward, Brock or Mac Jones. But the reality is Brock Purdy's making over $50 million. And unless something crazy happens or Brock just plays horrid when he comes back in his return, there's no way they can sit there and keep $50 million on the bench. So, I mean, it's great to have a second quarterback, but, money talks in this league. So I don't suspect there'll be a quarterback controversy yet until, again, if Brock were to come back and have 2 or 3 poor games, then all of a sudden I think you'd really be the fans would be talking. But right now I think it's Brock's spot pretty securely.
Luke, it's 4th and 1. They make a call, the running back. Who's at fault there not at fault, for them getting stuffed? I mean, is it the running back who doesn't choose the lane? Is it the line that doesn't create one? Or is it the defense that just does a great job to stuff them?
So, to me, it's the defense on that one. Every play's a little different, Noodles, but I hated that call, and I didn't love the idea of taking the ball out of Matthew Stafford. I love the call for going for it on 4th and 1. I love that situation. Go win the game. Okay, but what was strange to me, if you run that back, it's like we've got a tight end essentially blocking Fred Warner, who's humming downhill. You've got Puka Nacua trying to cut somebody off, and I think Puka's great, but, it's not an advantageous situation. Where I look at that, and alignment-wise, I'm like, run behind the big boys, not your tight end and a wide receiver. And if you're even going to run the ball, to me, you put something in Matthew Stafford's hands, something creative. He's got a million options. I thought the play call was horrid. I like the idea of going for him 4th and 1. But the thought process of running directly at Fred Warner when the game is on the line is very mind-boggling to me. I've played against Fred. Let's just put it this way. He's extremely good at football.
Yeah, it was a silly play, clearly. I like that, like you said, they weren't going to accept the tie. The Packers accepted the tie the week before. If they kick a field goal there, it's over. Niners are either going to win the game or kill the clock, and they're going to end up just tying it. So the Rams go for it, which I appreciate. But, yeah, it's a silly play. And Williams has got to take heat for the fumble earlier in the quarter, at the end of the 4th quarter. You cannot fumble a football. It was a brilliant play by that rookie for the Niners, but you cannot fumble in that position. And the Rams just found a way to lose. They just kept giving the Niners opportunities. And full credit to San Francisco. I mean, they're 4-1 now, and it doesn't matter if it's smoke and mirrors and the injury report's crazy deep. They've found a way to win games. It's been very, very impressive.
Yeah, and sounds like they're getting some of their guys back. I don't think that it's as deep of a team as we saw years ago, but if they get Kittle back, and I know this guy's far away, but if IU comes back and he's healthy, again, whenever that happens, And all of a sudden you roll out there and you've got Ayuk, Kittle, Jennings, Pearsall's been great. Obviously, CMC's just been carrying the load here. This guy is an absolute warrior. I thought he played like lights out yesterday. You look at this team and you're like, man, that offense is really something to be reckoned with. So I do think that if they can get healthy, they'll be a sleeper, in this whole NFC side right now. 4-1 means a lot.
Parts McVay took responsibility for calling the play after the game, and he said he put his team in a real bad spot. Like, how does that fly after the game? Does he just address the guys and just say, sorry, boys, or does he have enough clout where he doesn't have to say a thing?
Yeah, he's probably got enough clout at this point, especially because he's kind of an offensive guru. Like, no one's ever said McVay's got a play calling problem. But again, at least he's honest. I think that goes a long way, because when I saw it live, I was like, wow, that is a strange call on 4th and 1. And then when I watched it back on the replay, just even alignments, like in that whole run play, there should have at least been like, we would go yes or no on some teams. Like, yes means it's on, no means you're flipping it to the other side. Like, if you flip that to the other way, kind of away from Fred Warner, you're probably getting the first down, especially how that O-line blocked it up. So I was very shocked that, like, again, matchup-wise, you run to your tight end and a receiver that's obviously got a cheated split, but I'm sure McVay feels pretty sick about that. But to kind of reiterate what Hayes said, I think the whole team's got to feel sick. They had 2 fumbles, one on the goal line. The kicking game was an abomination again. Miss a field goal and miss an extra point. And you lose in overtime. Like, if it's not for the kicking game, this team's 4-0 right now. Excuse me, 5-0. Like, it's ridiculous.
With Luke Willson, I don't know if you saw this C.J. Stroud quote.
Did I ever, Hayes?
Yeah,
He's
23 years old. He's in his 3rd year in the league, and he said he's feeling old, and he's slower than he used to be. How do you handle this if you're Houston? Like, they had a really disappointing season last year. His rookie year, he was phenomenal. This year, they're off to a brutal start. They have Tennessee this week, which is a must-win. I believe it's Tennessee. They're playing the Ravens, I believe. Yeah, the Ravens are obviously without Lamar. How do you respond to this if you're in the room, if you're the coach, you're the GM, and you hear your franchise quarterback, C.J. Stroud, say what he said?
At this point, and I know it's obviously early, but you've got to pull C.J. Stroud in and get this guy's mind right. And why I'm saying that is, obviously he had the rookie campaign that was unbelievable. He got talked about. Obviously, wasn't close, but being an MVP, he was in that like second category of MVP votes. And it's like, that was his rookie year. His second year, it was such a decline that they fired the offensive coordinator. And now you got a new OC in, and the offense has been putrid. Like, he's not throwing the ball well. They don't run the ball well. Now, you can point at some other factors here, offensive line. The run game has not helped them. But he has also not looked great. And he did not look great for a large part of year 2. And now he's coming in front of the media saying that he's feeling like he's getting old. Dude, my guy's 23 years old. Okay, I mean, if he's feeling old now, how is he going to feel when he hits 30? I think a lot of this right now is he's probably searching for answers on why things aren't clicking. And if there's a time to get the ship, righted, it's this week. They're playing a horrific defense in Baltimore, and Baltimore's best players are out on defense as well. So, you would think that this week he can really put a stake in the game and kind of turn this thing around, because I think C.J. Stroud's in his head a little bit saying stuff like that. I believe he also said he feels like he hasn't grown into his body. So I'm like, I don't know how you say you haven't grown into your body and then later on be like, I'm getting old in the same interview.
There's Al's brother. No confusion with Al's brother, right? You're very stable. You know what's up. You know how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis. You haven't slowed down. You're faster, man. You're 40 time 5-6 years ago. You're way faster.
I'm faster than that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely faster than that one. That was an absolutely brutal 40 that O and I ran. If we redid that, though, I think we could do well. You, for sure, O, would crush your time. Were you a 10-6 back in the day?
It's going to be better than whatever the hell it was. What was it? What was that time, by the way? It was so embarrassing. I think you beat me, by the way.
I did. I beat you by, I think, half a second. Like, I was a 10-1. You were a 10-6.
Yeah. Do you know
oh, man.
how embarrassing that statement is when someone looks at a grown man and goes, you were a 10-6 back in the day running the 40. That is just an outrageous description of a human being. But factual and accurate, House brother. So, listen, we're in our midseason slump. It happens every single year. Every year we hit a bit of a slump. We get into the moon readings, we start to see the board clearly, and we get motivated because now people start to doubt us. So we're only down -2. We'll be leading by Sunday night. Like, there's no questioning that. And we have another Sunday game, and Owen Wilson, you guys are on the clock. This game is terrible. Carson Wentz versus Dylan Gabriel. Good luck if you're over in London and you have tickets for this. Vikings 3.5. What's the play here? Owen Wilson, you're on the clock.
Barks, I'm going to be very honest with you. I have very little faith in the Browns offense right now, especially against the Brian Flores defense. You got a rookie quarterback. There's just no way. Maybe the kid scrambles around. Maybe it's a Jackson Dart situation, but that would just be luck. We don't rely on luck. We come in and then we act like pro athletes, and the pro athlete pick here is the Vikings all day. If Gabriel pulls a rabbit out of the sleeve, we live with that. But there's no way I could take a rookie going up against Brian Flores' defense.
You know, Hazy, I this is a weird game, though, isn't it? Because the Vikings, they've been over there. They didn't come back home, I imagine. Mm-hmm. They've been overseas, so they're kind of acclimated to the time zone. So we're kind of in a bind there, but that hook is always deadly. Yeah. That hook across the number 3. And I think Luke hit on it, though. Sometimes a rookie quarterback making his first start in the NFL, there's not much game tape on that guy. Sometimes he can do some things that no one's expecting of him. And we saw it happen last week. And Dylan Gabriel, do I think they're going to win this game? No. But the Browns, that defense has been elite. Talk about Flores and the Vikings. The Browns defense put Jordan Love in a mental pretzel. I think Carson Wentz will be seeing ghosts out there as well. I think we'll see a pretty one-score game. I think this could be a field goal game for sure. You're
telling me that Myles Garrett's chasing Carson Wentz around in London? Dude, please. This could end up like a soccer score. This might be 3-2. It could be 3-2.
Well, they're missing Brian O'Neill. I think Brian Kelly's not playing, so that's two of their starters on the offensive line that aren't going to be there. So
I love this.
He's going to be scrambling all game long.
I love being on the Browns. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, he loves London. He's always been a fan of
love being on the Browns.
Love being on the
Browns. I know. That's the dumbest statement ever said on this show.
I love being on the Browns. All right, Al's brother, once again, Doogie has cooked up a jam job of epic proportions. It happens to us every single game, but that's fine. We want to be challenged. We need a challenge this year. Last year was too easy for us. Broncos at Eagles. Eagles laying 4.5. Where's your head at?
So here's where I'm at with this one, Hayes, okay? Because the tremendous information, right? The numbers, to me, scream, take the Dogs. Take the Denver Broncos. Like, Philly's 4-0, but that offense has been horrendous. Like, besides the Titans, they have been worse than every other football team when it comes to their passing attack and throwing the football. They're 30th in yards per play. Saquon has only topped 60 yards one time. There's been some serious regression here, and that offensive line has been a shell of itself, and that's been their bread and butter over the course of the last couple of years there in Philly. And you look at it, I mean, Denver's got maybe the best defense in the NFL, an elite secondary. They're leading the NFL in sacks. They're leading the NFL in pressure rate. Like, all of those things scream Denver, and the points make sense at 4.5. But at the same time, Philly can put it together. Like, Philly can put it together. We've seen it happen time and time again. Every time we doubt a team and they finally put it together, and we sit there and we say, how did we take the other side? How do we fade that team? So this is where we get put in a mental pretzel. But the information to me says Denver. But you bring the gut instinct.
Well,
what does the gut instinct say here, Hayes?
The gut instinct says close game. The gut instinct says close game or a backdoor cover for the Broncos. It does. Bo Nix on the road. He loves playing in Philly, just like Dylan Gabriel loves playing in London. This is information we have exclusively. And I think Sean Payton rolls in there and he challenges his group. Like they're in a position they could be 4-0 this year. Like they really could. Denver could be in a position where they could be 4-0. They might get jammed by another late field goal, but if they do, they cover the number. I think the gut instinct matches the tremendous information. Dogs are barking. Let's take the Broncos. We're on the Broncos.
Let's ride, baby.
We're on the Broncos. We're on the Broncos.
This is what I'll say, this is what gets so funny about your, quote-unquote TG, is you cherry-pick things with just no context. And it's like, oh, man, they lead the league in sacks. And I'm not saying they don't have a good pass rush. But when you get to go up against Cam Ward in week 1 and you have 16 sacks in 1 week and it's been 4 weeks into the season, of course you're going to be at the front of the pack. But the last week they had 3 against Jake Browning and 5 pylons playing offensive line. They're not doing that this week. Can you guys get a clue? Can you get a clue? This is a brutal pick. It's a brutal pick.
All right. We'll see. We'll see.
They walked into Indy. They walked into Charger Stadium there in SoFi, and they played them to one-score, walk-off field goal games. They played tough on the road. Those are 2 very quality teams, quality offenses, and Denver went toe-to-toe. Philly's offense has been brutal. You got to admit that. This offense has been bad. A.J. Brown's out there tweeting up a storm. I mean, things could unravel. I mean, Denver could win this game. They could be on upset watch here, and we're getting 4.5. Yeah, I like Denver. Let's
lock it in. All right, Broncos are our picks.
Lock it in, then.
Bucks at Seahawks. This one you're screwing up.
For the record, you can no longer claim that Vic Fangio is your guy. I'm just letting you guys know that. I don't want to hear that come out of anyone's mouth.
We like him post Thanksgiving. That's when we jump on his
bandwagon. That's what it is. Got it.
Bucks climbing.
Bucks Seahawks.
Seahawks laying 3.5.
Oh, it's up to 3.5 now.
Yes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
No problem. We're still taking the Hawks. Pretty easy choice here. The Hawks defense has been phenomenal. The Bucks are super banged up. But you laugh. The Bucks have had to have crazy 2-minute drives just to come back or be in games. This is a team that almost lost to the Jets. Okay, they're beat up. Mike Evans is out. Godwin doesn't look the same right now, coming back from injury. So you got who? Ibuka, the rookie. Is he gonna go into Seattle's defense and actually blow that up? Also, I believe Bucky Irving's not playing, so there's probably your best offensive weapon, obviously outside of Baker. So you're out without Irving, without Mike Evans. Easy. This is an easy game, boys. Thanks for the layup, Doogie.
All right. Yeah, it is a layup. Of course it is. But listen, this is a Baker Mayfield chasing an MVP type game. Furthest travel in the league, Tampa to Seattle. He rolls in there. Sam Darnold can't keep up with Baker. There's no chance. Former teammates, by the way. All right, final game of the weekend, or Sunday. Final Sunday pick. Pats at Bills. Bills laying 8.5. Al's brother, supply the tremendous information.
Yeah, I mean, Hazy B, we've been burned twice, going against a few of our core policies that we have as a team and an organization, right? We talk a lot about divisional games, big number. The dogs usually bark in those ones. And I think we got to go back and get back to our traditional values. 8.5 points is just an absurd number here for the Patriots and Bills. I think that the Pats, they've been pretty solid this year. Drake May looks like a legitimate quarterback. They're averaging 25.5 points per game. They put up 40 last week. And the Bills, the defense is where they've lacked. They've got injuries still to that secondary. They got injuries to the defensive line. They've got some depth issues. So I think that this could easily be a one-score game. And they've really had a problem with stopping the run, too. They're allowing 6 yards per carry on the ground. I think if the Patriots go in there, they establish the run, Travion Henderson, the rookie, gets cooking, Ramon Stevenson gets going, those two together, I think they can start to put some offense together and keep it a one-score game. I think we got to take the 8.5 here.
I'm with you, man. It's a Mike Vrabel special, dude. He owned Buffalo throughout his career as a Patriot playing. He rolls in there. It's a tight game. Sunday night under the lights, tight game, divisional game. Back doors open.
Am I hearing this right?
Dogs are barking.
You guys are
Pats plus 8.5.
You guys are taking Drake Bay
yes.
to cover against Josh Allen
yes.
on a primetime game?
Absolutely what we're saying. Dogs are barking for us.
Parks, are you listening to this?
Dogs are barking. You guys just play favorites.
They're going to have their new outfits on. They're going to have their new gear on, man. I love it. It's going to be a smoke show, Partsy. They don't know it.
Okay.
I love the way these guys always say they're going to call the way the game's going to play. It's insane. They're so confident in what their knowledge is or whatever the hell they say.
Yeah, tremendous information and gut instinct.
That's right.
And it collides, and it's probably the greatest gambling run anyone's ever seen. So enjoy the ride, man. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. All right, +2. I think we're probably, what are we, +3, Al's brother, by Sunday night? That feels
I think
about
it's
right.
possible.
Or
I think it's
+2
probable,
anyway.
to be honest.
I think we're going 4-0 on Sunday. These guys, they have no idea what they're doing. We feel great about our picks, and everything's locked in. All right, boys.
I can't wait for that Carson Wentz pick. That Carson Wentz pick is going to be amazing.
Myles Garrett is going to come around the corner at what time will it be over there? Like 4:02 local time, and Carson Wentz will not know what to do with himself. I cannot wait for it. All right, boys.
You guys might not be wrong, but the problem is the Browns might have 97 total yards of offense.
That's fine. That's enough.
Quinshon Judkins, baby. Quinshon Judkins. That's all I got to say.
3-0 Browns. All right, Al's brother. Luke, great seeing you guys. Best of luck with the picks. We'll do it again on Monday. There it is, Al's brother and Luke Willson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. All right, best bets coming up. Future day on FanDuel. We got some future picks for the NHL season. And Davis Schneider will join us to tee up Jays Yankees. We'll do that next.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Mail-in Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. Davis Schneider coming up here in just a moment. Kevin Gosman will get the nod. Game 1 tomorrow, and all of the games and the times have been revealed. It's 4:08 Saturday, 4:08 Sunday. And then Game 3 at 8:08, Game 4 at 7:08, Game 5 at 8:08. So prime time. Prime time, man. That's what you're getting with the Yankees, right? That's what you're getting.
And if you're the Jays, man, you got to be cooking, Hazy, because it's amazing how momentum with the Yanks. Like, it didn't seem like too long ago. They were a bit of a mess, and Boone was just getting torched, and they couldn't field the baseball, and they were a mess, and it was dropping, and they were losing it. And now they are cooking, and they look dangerous. So I know the Jays have had a break, and rest versus rust is always, that chatter is always out there. But, like, they got to be cooking, man, to start this series because Game 1 is massive, as you mentioned, man.
It's huge, and they're an underdog. Like, not that that matters, but they won the division. They got home field advantage. They're the underdogs. And, a lot of that's based on the way the Yankees have played down the stretch and what they just did against Boston. And the Jays played well. They won 4 straight down the stretch as well. And yet the Yankees have won 11 of 12, and now they won 2 or 3 against Boston. And you're right, though. They still are not a team – like, their fundamentals are not very good in New York. They make a lot of defensive mistakes, a lot of them. And the Jays have been very sound defensively. So that's what you're banking on. It's not a one-game playoff. Best out of 5, you play the long game, fundamentally strong. Yes, you're going to need big hits. You're going to have to hit for power. Guys are going to have to hit home runs if you want 3 wins against the Yankees. It's going to happen. And then when you get to the championship series, if you're going to win 4 games, you're going to need home runs. It's going to happen. But fundamentally strong baseball, the arms are going to have to be good. We know what they have to do. Like, we know what John Schneider expects out of his team. But it's a big platform for the Jays because they've had a great year and people have doubted them all season. You beat the Yankees in the DS, doubters will disappear. Like, that'll be the end of people doubting you immediately.
I just don't know why. I mean, why the Yankees are favored. To me, it should be a pick 'em. I mean, at minimum, because I mean the Jays won the division. They were excellent. Yeah, they stubbed their toe a little bit and lost 5 or 6 or whatever. But to me, the Yankees, they had their struggles. At one point, I think they had lost or they won 11 of like 35. It was something ridiculous. And we were like counting the Yankees out, but I don't know why that they are favored. It should, if anything, the Blue Jays should be slightly favored. They've got home field. They won the division.
It's where the money comes in, Noodles. That's it. Like, people are going to hammer the Yankees. You know, why are the Leafs, second, third, fourth in cup odds every single year, seemingly? Because people bet the Leafs. Leaf fans hammer it. Like, this will be the year. And that's a lot of what, the markets detail. Listen, the Yankees are a really good team. Like, Aaron Judge is playing, and he's ready to go. And once you get through, I think Luis Gil will probably start game 1 for the Yankees. He's a stud. Like, he has great, great stuff. And then it's into Fried, then into Rodon, then into Schlittler game 4. Like, then Fried again game 5. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Right. But the Jays are rested. Jays have been partying, man. They partied twice. They got to party when they clinched the playoffs and party when they won the AL East.
That's what I want to ask Davis. Like, how big of a motivating factor is it to have the next party? Like, that's got to be – obviously you're playing the games and you want to keep advancing, but to see the guys in the clubhouse all throughout the league, they love popping the champagne and pouring. I saw one guy, he just stood behind his teammate and poured 5 straight cold beers on top of his head. And he wouldn't stop. Yeah. They just love it. They love wasting cold beers and dumping them on each other's head.
It's every baseball player's favorite thing to do. I'm guessing that would include our next guest. Here he is, Davis Schneider. Davis, how many beers did you waste, or how many bottles of champagne did you waste in the clubhouse with your 2 celebrations?
There was a pretty good amount. I feel like there's too much to count, but I had definitely had a good time. I know everyone else had a good time, but obviously, it's not our end goal. That was just kind of one of the first steps to what we want to do is obviously win the World Series. So, but we got a couple more roadblocks on the way.
Those celebrations, how long are they lasting? Like, are you wheeling out of the ballpark at 6 a.m.? Like, how deep do those go into the night? I know George Springer was pretty fired up looking for police horses, but how deep did you guys take it, and how was the recovery?
It was pretty good. I didn't get anything like crazy hammered or anything like that. I'm not a big time drinker, but obviously you want to have a good time with all the guys that are there. But it definitely wasn't 6 a.m. or anything like that. We kind of got out of there. Most of our families and friends were there also, too, so we got to meet up with them, too, and we couldn't be too messed up meeting with them. So, but it was definitely a good time.
So, Davis, you guys wrap it up. Did you take a day or two to reflect on that and let the body reset, and then it's back to work? Or what was the work week like for you guys getting ready for this series?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely weird for me because this is definitely my first time kind of experiencing this. But, we had like a original day off on Monday after Sunday, so we didn't really do anything. It was just like a regular day off. And then Tuesday, come in, kind of just do our work, whatever we kind of needed. And Wednesday, Thursday is when we did our 2 inter-squad games. So having the inter-squad games kind of helped just kind of getting back to, seeing live pitching and, kind of getting the game like as best we can. But, today was just kind of like a last thing, whatever we kind of needed to work on, defense, some extra, bunt plays and stuff like that. So just the little things. But, I feel like we're ready to go and, excited to play against the Yanks.
With Davis Schneider, the Blue Jays-Yankees game 1 tomorrow afternoon down at the Rogers Center. How much of the 3-game wildcard series did you watch between New York and Boston?
I watched all 3 games. You got to kind of see what, how they're playing and, you got to see what team you're going to be playing because we thought we were going to play the Red Sox too. So you kind of have to scout. Obviously, we have a bunch of scouting departments and everything like that. But as a player, I kind of wanted to just watch and see what they did and everything like that, the emotion they were showing and everything. So, but I'm a big baseball guy in general, so I was just trying to watch all 3 games no matter what.
Well, you get the Yankees, and the Yankees are famous for stealing signs. And your own manager pumped their tires a couple of weeks ago, said, hey, these guys do it as well as anybody. And you mentioned you were kind of watching. I don't know if that's something you were watching for, but how does that factor into how you prepare for this series, how kind of crafty the Yankees can be in terms of picking up on signs and relaying signs and possibly being prepared for pitches?
Yeah, I mean, I hats off to them, too. I mean, that's what you kind of want to do as a baseball team. They're not even stealing signs. They're stealing what the pitcher's doing. So it's like if they were stealing signs, that's one thing, but they're not even stealing signs. They're stealing what the pitcher's trying to do. And that's what makes a good baseball team a good baseball team. They're trying to win no matter what. And I don't consider that cheating or bush league or anything like that. I think that's just them kind of trying to take advantage of what other teams are giving them, and they do a pretty good job at it too. So obviously we got to be more cognizant of it when we're out there. But I'm not like pissed that they're doing it like that. But they just find ways on how to take the edge over other teams.
Well, the reason you guys won the AL East in the end is because you beat the Yankees more than you lost to the Yankees this year. And obviously you should have confidence stacking up against them, but I'm curious what you think you might see differently from the Yankees in the playoffs that maybe you didn't see in the regular season.
Yeah, I feel like especially the series they played against Boston, they scored more runs not via the homer. They were kind of getting on base, putting the pressure on the defense, on the Red Sox defense, and I feel like that's what you kind of need in the playoffs, and the Yankees were doing that in that 3-game series. But, hopefully, good defense, smart decision-making on the base passes is like what we kind of need to stop in. So, because, they can hit the long ball for sure, but, we just got to make sure we kind of do the little things, making sure we're throwing to the right base, not making, clueless errors out there, just making sure we're, just being prepared for all 9 innings.
How is your preparation a little different going into Yankee Stadium? We know that their fan base can get a little gritty and they're chirping and stuff like that. So is it something that you definitely have to get your head wrapped around, maybe heading down there?
For sure. I mean, even in Toronto, it's going to be loud. So I feel like just being on the same page communication-wise, like whether that's like, fly balls and everything like that, you're not going to be able to hear a lot of stuff out there. So we got to make sure we're yelling at each other, but we got to make sure we're kind of doing like physical signs, like on like fly balls and, making sure like we're kind of seeing who's got it. But, we have a lot of guys who's kind of been in the playoffs on our team, George, Miles, Himmy, a lot of Bassett. So they kind of know what the playoffs are all about. But, Yankee Stadium's a different animal. So it's going to be definitely going to be a fun one. Just, Yankees fans are definitely crazy and assholes at sometimes. Sorry for cursing, but you just got to stick with it and hopefully just kind of play through it and don't let them get to you.
With Davis Schneider, so are you hoping that your fans bring the same heat? Like what do you said it's the first time you'll experience playoff baseball here in Toronto. I could tell you I was there for Game 5 in 2015. That's the craziest stadium all three of us were there when Bautista hit that home run and Jays ended up beating the Rangers in Game 5. That was the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I don't think you'll see it for first pitch tomorrow, but what kind of craziness do you expect out of your own fans in Game 1, 2, and possibly Game 5?
Yeah, they've been great all year. I feel like they've been showing out. They've been packing that stadium for the whole year. But, like you said, playoffs are a different animal, and I don't know. I don't think it would ever get to the Jose Bautista moment, but hopefully it's going to be close to that. And, the fans are great there, and they've been, like I said, great all year, and hopefully they can bring that energy tomorrow and make sure the Yankees kind of feel that as well and, put some pressure on them.
How much do you look to George Springer in situations like these with his experience? And we were talking about him earlier, just being the engine of the Jays. Like, how important of a guy is he for you guys?
It's great. I mean, he's been great all year. Ever since I got called up in 23, he's kind of been the leader in the clubhouse. And he's like a big guy of, all right, everyone don't panic, just play the game like you know how to play it. And I feel like you kind of need that in a leader that tells people to, calm down a little bit. Obviously, nerves kind of get to some people, but he makes a lot of people less nervous just the way he kind of goes about it. Like, because he's been there for how many years in the league? He's been in the playoffs for so many times, and he's kind of seen all of it, and he passes definitely a lot of wisdom down to every single one of them.
With Davis Schneider, it's going to be great to see you guys hit the field tomorrow. I'm sure you've been dreaming about this your whole life. We'll get you out of here with that question. Like, what's it going to be like just getting to the park tomorrow, knowing you're about to play playoff baseball against the Yankees of all teams? Do you allow yourself to even dream of what that's going to feel like tomorrow?
No, not really. I didn't really think about it until you kind of, I mean, obviously I knew we were playing the Yankees, but, you dream about it as a kid, and you're playing wiffle ball in your backyard against, your friends in your neighborhood, and you're just dreaming about situations in the playoffs, bases loaded, 3-2 count and all that stuff. And, I've been a baseball fan my whole life, and this is going to be definitely a cool moment. And get to share it with my teammates and my family. They're going to come up too. So it's going to be an exciting one. But, this is what you live for. It's what you play for. And, we're definitely ready for it.
Can't wait. Best of luck this weekend throughout the whole divisional series and beyond that. And we really appreciate you doing this. Thank you, Davis.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Got it. Davis Schneider of the Toronto Blue Jays. I had a game on tomorrow. Cannot wait.
Hayes, you talked about like the experience. From my whole life, you remember the first game of the NHL Finals where they announce all the starting players for each team. They only do it once, the first game of the Stanley Cup Finals. And then I was there and I was doing it. And I'm like, it's just a nerve-wracking experience. You're like, I've watched this my whole life, and now I'm getting to experience it. And that's the whole thing about it. Like, can you calm yourself down to perform in these moments? Like, that's what the Jays are going to be up against, man. Like, it's the playoffs. It's the big bad Yankees. It's all of it, and you gotta figure out a way to do it because you've seen the momentum, and it just seems like you're watching the games, but the series is over like that. And it's like, if you don't get guys that get the job done, whether it's pitching or key hitting, it could be over very quickly. So you got to get in there, and you got to get it done right away.
Big time, and it's uncharted territory. They haven't played in 5 days, right? Like they're all just sitting around waiting to go. Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of worry you, the 5 days off? Like, it seems like the Yankees are cooking. It's like.
I think you also rattled him a little bit. He's like, I never thought about that until you brought it up. He hangs up. He's like, hey, I'm playing with the Yankees tomorrow.
Yeah, he's like, man, I better be dreaming about this. Am I wrong for not dreaming about hitting the field for the first time? Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty cool guy. Like that was I like this comment about the Yankee fans and, how many beers he wasted in the clubhouse. And they've had 2 parties, awesome. And they want to have 3 more. So thanks again to Davis Schneider. Got to get that right. I said Davis Sanchez out of the gate. Our boy Sanchez. I've said his name so many times.
That's like, you've only done that. I don't think you've ever done that, man.
I'm not sure I've ever done that. And it just naturally rolled off the tongue. Like Davis Sanchez is our guy. Like Davis is our guy. And this is Davis
You knew
Schneider.
Who was on, though. You didn't. It was.
Oh, of course.
It wasn't Jake Delhomme or whatever. Jake Plummer.
No, it was just a butchering on a Friday. It's all good. All right, we're going to get to some future bets, courtesy of FanDuel. It's future day for FanDuel today in terms of the NHL, and we're all going to pick a couple as we move into the weekend. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Mail-in and Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy a $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. All right, as we've been saying, Boston Pizza packed tonight all weekend for sure. We got football, we got hockey, we got basketball, we got baseball, we got everything. Everything. What do we have? The Sanderson Farms going on down in Mississippi, too. What a golf tournament that is. Max Homa in the hunt. Don't forget about Max. So we got a lot of action. And today's a big day on FanDuel. It's Futures Day on FanDuel. We had Johnny come on and make a bunch of picks. We were discussing his picks earlier today. And OverDrive, of course, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. All right. Who wants to fire off their list here? Got to be quick, but we can fire them off here.
You go first.
Oh, you go ahead. What do you have for us in terms of what you're looking at, in terms of the boards and what you think might have value for the future?
I was consulted on this, not my expertise, but I found some value that I think, Hazy B, Cup winner, Tampa Bay Lightning, plus 1,200. Do you not like that?
I like that. Yeah, it's good value, and they're going to be in the hunt. Like, they're one of those 7 or 8 teams that could win it, for sure. For sure.
Division winner, Rangers, plus 550 in the Metro. Hart Trophy, David Pasternak at plus 2,700.
Good value there for Pasta. Really good. If they get back in the playoffs and he scores 60 or something, he'll be in the hunt for sure. That value.
Cole Caulfield, plus 40 goals. And Jack Hughes, plus 600 to get 100 points.
Okay. I like that. He's got to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he can do it. Yeah. Like his point per game, he puts himself in that position.
I think he's a slam dunk guy to get 100 points.
Okay. Yeah, they got a good team, really good team. They should be competitive. Keefe's offense, his system sets up well for that. All right, Noodles, what do you have for us?
Well, it's a copycat. I went with the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Cup plus 1,200, so I didn't really step out on that one. But division winner, I went with the Edmonton Oilers, only plus 155. Then I thought, well, maybe Vegas will. So I was like,
not bad odds.
I don't know about
not
that.
Bad,
but,
not great, but they'll be in the hunt. It's Edmonton.
Yeah, they'll be in the hunt. A Vezina Trophy, Igor Shesterkin. I thought, the Rangers might have a bounce-back year this year. And if he's a big part of that, you give him the Vezina. A $17 million man to get 90-plus points. Kirill the Thrill in Minnesota. If he's healthy, I think he can do it.
He better hit 90 points for that kind of money. He's not getting paid that this year, but still.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But then I went out in the Ottawa realm. My buddy Tim Stützle, 30-plus goals.
Okay.
So apparently he wants to shoot a lot more. He's got a good shot. If he can get 30, that's plus 140 on Tim Stützle.
That's pretty good. Plus money on Stützle. Like, if he's healthy, he can definitely do that. I like that board. Okay, I'm looking a little bit further down the list in terms of value for a Cup winner on mine. I went with Winnipeg at 17 to 1. I
saw that.
Now, again, Hellebuck scares me. He terrifies me. But my reasoning is, if he has a year where he's like, screw it, I'm playing, and I'm going to stand on my head, I'm going to do what I'm capable of doing, 17 to 1 for the Jets is great value at this time of year.
Yeah.
It'll be way worse value later in the year. Divisional winner, same thing. Capitals were like, they're 6 to 1. They were fourth best odds to win the division. They won it running away last year. I think they take a step back this year, but that much value for Washington, I'm on it. Matthews to win the Rockets, paying plus money. Like, I think he's winning the Rocket this year. I do. I think he's going to score 55, 57 goals, plus money. 70-plus points, Macklin Celebrini. And we've been talking about McDavid scoring goals this year. You only got to pay a little bit of juice on McDavid, 40-plus goals. So I'm on McDavid, 40-plus goals this year. I like those futures. I like all of our futures, honestly. I think we're all hitting winners here. So there you go. Find it on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Big day for future bets at FanDuel. All right, boys. Good stuff. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and up on YouTube Live. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at...
Leave that dynamic duo alone. Do your own thing. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.